This is the CycVerve Electric Bike, the city cruiser e-bike I recently picked up and have already put a good number of miles on. So today I want to give you a quick review based on my real experience. If you're thinking about getting into electric bikes or looking for an upgrade, stick around because I've got a lot to share, especially if you're just getting started with e-bikes. The CycVerve caught my eye first because of its shape. With the easy step-through frame, finished in this really clean white color, it just looks modern and inviting. I'm average height and not super athletic, so being able to hop on and off easily really matters. The frame is made of 6061 aluminum, which means it's lighter than I expected, a lot easier to move than older e-bike models I've ridden. This is a full-size bike with big 26-inch wheels and those chunky 4-inch wide fat tires designed for all kinds of terrain. I was pretty skeptical about those fat tires at first, worrying they'd feel slow or clunky, but from my rides so far they're smooth, cushiony, and give solid grip, even when I took it off paved roads and onto sandier paths. If you're new to e-bikes, a key feature you need to know about is the pedal assist system, or PAS. Basically, when PAS is off, you're riding it like a regular bike, legs only. If you want some help, you use the easy-to-reach control buttons to bump up the pedal assist. It starts at level 1 and goes all the way up to 5. I really enjoy having that control. On lazy days or tough hills, I crank it up and it feels almost like the bike is carrying me instead of the other way around. You've also got a thumb throttle on this bike, which means with just a push, you can zip along without even pedaling. I prefer this over twist throttles because you grip the handle naturally, and there's way less risk of accidentally zooming ahead if you make a wrong move while parking or getting off. The motor is a big selling point. This bike packs a 1400-watt peak brushless motor, one of the most powerful I've tried in this price range. Maybe you've read about wattages and torque before. In short, the motor power tells you how fast and strong the bike feels. That 1400-watt peak feels quick off the line, and climbing hills feels nearly effortless. If you're dealing with some steep roads or carrying extra gear, you'll notice the difference. The spec sheet quotes that it breezes up 30% slope hills, which lines up with what I've tried. Battery life was another thing I worried about. No one wants to be stranded miles from home. The CycVerve features a 48-volt, 15.6 watt-hour removable battery tucked inside the frame so it stays protected and dry, which I think is really smart. Charging is straightforward, and it averages about 4 to 5 hours for a full charge. From my testing, I get well over 60 miles riding on lower assist levels, though if you're on full throttle or maximum assist, expect less. Still, I find myself charging every few days, not every day, which is super convenient if you're using it for daily commutes. Comfort is huge for me, and the CycVerve handles itself well here. You're sitting upright, the seat is padded, and both the handlebar height and angle are easily adjusted. There's full suspension, meaning it's got front fork shock absorbers and a rear shock, so even when I took it across a bumpy trail or over potholes, the ride honestly stayed easy on my back. If you've always hated how regular bikes make you feel every little crack or pebble, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. One thing I really appreciated were the safety features, especially for city riding or evenings. There's a bright LED headlight up front and a rear light that lets you switch between steady and blinking. When riding at night, these lights definitely make a difference for visibility, which is always my #1 concern. The hydraulic disc brakes on both wheels stop the bike fast and smooth, so even with a heavier frame, you never feel out of control. This bike is also pretty practical. It comes with wheel fenders, both front and rear, which I insist on because riding in wet weather is actually possible without ending up splattered. There's a sturdy rear rack, perfect for adding saddlebags or carrying groceries. The frame supports a pretty solid maximum weight, so it's no problem if you need to haul some extra stuff. The gear shifter is a 7-speed Shimano, and it switches smoothly. I know a lot of beginners get confused. Just remember that more gears mean you can adjust how much effort you put in when pedaling, especially useful when switching between flat roads and hills. Let's talk about what it's really like to ride. Out on city streets, it feels stable and responsive, even zippy when you tap that throttle. On the beach, those fat tires really shine. You can actually ride on hard-packed sand without sinking. If the sand is too soft, any bike is going to struggle, but manageable spots are a breeze. The step-through frame is a lifesaver when you're tired or carrying bags, and I never realized how much I'd appreciate it until I found myself not having to swing my leg over after a long ride. I'll be honest, there are some things to keep in mind. This bike is not light, it weighs about 75 pounds, so carrying it upstairs can be a challenge. For most people, though, that'll only matter if you have to bring it indoors often. When I first assembled it, there were a few moments of which cable goes where, but the instructions are clear and I got it sorted out in about half an hour. For anyone who's never built a bike before, just set aside a bit of extra time or ask a friend for help. I added my own phone holder to the handlebars so I could use maps or track my ride. If you're like me, that's a must-have add-on. Otherwise, basically everything you need comes right in the box, including the fenders and the rack. In my opinion, the CycVerve Electric Bike is perfect for anyone who wants a bit of adventure, an easy way to get around town, or just a fun weekend ride. The combination of power, comfort, and real practicality is hard to beat, especially at this price. If you're new to e-bikes, you'll find the Step-Thru frame forgiving and comfortable, and the controls are really easy to figure out. If you're more experienced, you'll appreciate the power, battery life, and the feeling of zipping through traffic without breaking a sweat. From my experience, the only downsides are the weight and the fact that you'll need some space for storage. If you plan to ride at night, the built-in lights are a real benefit, and for anyone who lives in a place with hills or rough terrain, you'll love the torque from the motor. I'd recommend this to commuters, casual riders, and even folks looking to get back into cycling after a break, especially those who care about comfort and all-weather versatility. There's something freeing about being able to choose how much effort you want to put in. Long story short, it's both sturdy and fun. In conclusion, the CycVerve Electric Bike checks all my boxes: good looks, strong performance, and thoughtful features for safety and convenience. If you're thinking about making your day-to-day easier or just want reliable transportation that still feels like fun, I don't think you'll regret it. Try it out, see how it fits with your life, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you found this quick review helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and drop a comment if you have any questions or your own experiences to share. Thank you for watching.